So there we are. There are lots of the Bible and Bluey mentality people in Liberia, those of which can be like, I don't know how to speak it. And the truth is, many of them, if not all of them, think that by not knowing how to speak your dialect, it means you are more civilized or better than the one who speaks his or her dialect. Are we good? Moving on now, starting with the picture you see up here. This is a picture of the Providence Island. And the Providence Island is the origin of current-day Liberia. That was where the free slaves settled when they came from the US in the 1820s. But before their arrival, the original inhabitants of the Providence Island were the Gola people. G-O-L-A. Gola people were there. So that's why the Providence Island was originally called Tuzee Island. D-O-Z-O-A. Tuzee Island. That was the original name. So when the settlers came, because they were English-speaking people from the US, they changed the name to an English name. And they firstly called it Perseverance Island, and they later called it Providence Island, the name it bears today. So from the onset, those indigenous that lived in those areas, these were some of the ways they built homes. They used the rampos, the palm stuff, and then to build homes like this one. This is another way they build homes. Because those days, they never had a knowledge of living in modern structures. The you and I do today, we are living in concrete buildings. Those days, it was not like that. And this is a hammock. Mm-hmm. And the hammock was the first means of transportation for the people. Back in the days, our people never had knowledge of vehicle. Car was not in existence. As a matter of fact, this was a presidential vehicle. This was where the king or the chief or the head of the people would sit. Then the young men would carry him on their shoulder from one town to another. They also used this as an ambulance to carry a sick person to the nearby herbalist. Yeah, I think so. And they also use it as means of realization, which is still in our setting, but it is only used as means of our realization today.
Oh my God.
This is our traditional kitchen. In the rural part of the country, this is how the kitchen looks like. Normally you have a dryer hanging, and the essence of the dryer is for preservation. This was where they will put a raw meat or the raw fish. When the heat of the fire touches it, it gets dried, then it stays for a longer period of time. It will not spoil. This is our traditional pot. This is made of clay. And this is the water cooler. Our people use them to keep water, to save water in the ones. And this is a mortar. They use it to pound the rice, cassava leaves, and other stuff. This one is a grinder. This is the sandy mask or sandy helmets. But back in the days, our people never had knowledge of academic education. The one you guys are acquiring today, going to school, learning ABC, SSO, chemistry, all the kind of stuff, it was not in existence. The only form of school back in the days was a bush school, which was divided into two, the poorer and the sandy. And in this school, you are going there to learn. That's our university. The kind of courses, yeah, the kind of courses or subject you are taught in this school are such like learning how to take care of children, learn how to prepare food, teaching you to become a good housewife, knowing you as a woman what to say and what not to say. Those are subjects, those are courses, the do's and don'ts of society, learning morals of life. You learn all those things. And upon your graduation, these were the graduation helmets for the women's society, which was known as the Sandy Society. And that when you come from there, your name will change. You no longer come with the same name. Like your name now is Nola. Good. Like human being of. Or human business, yes. So human business, you come from there, your name will no longer be Nola. They will change your name and give you another name. The previous name became an insultive name. So that next time anybody call you Nola, you see her crying. What? Yeah, what happened? You see that boy there call me Nola. wasn't that your name before? Proper tradition, that is now your taboo. So the only people that will call you those kind of names are elders or people who are member of that society. And not just member, but they should be elder people. Well, you're not a member of the society, and you are not even, nobody. They want to call the girl or the man with his own name. In fact, the name we call a sinner, the name of sinner. That's a sinner name. SINNER, sinner. So people who have not joined the society, you are known as a sinner. SINNER. You are a sinner. Are we good?
Yes.
All right. So these are marks for Nemba. Nemba is one of the 15 political subdivisions in Liberia. Nemba has 2 tribes, the Gio and the Mano. So the Mano marks and the Gio marks. Okay. Any marks are used for tribal or traditional performances, making occasion unique, welcoming strangers in town. And these are symbols of the ancestral spirit of the people of Nemba County. This one was first introduced 1960, and this was introduced 1923. Yeah.
So I had a question about this mask. So I was asking, what all of the different elements and artifacts on these masks signify?
So in the first place, yeah, if you look at the mask, how does it look like to you?
This one looks like a cloth.
Thank you. So that's why I said they are symbol of the ancestral spirit.
Okay.
Now in the rural part of the country, there are lots of people that deal insectic kind of animals. Let's take for example, the Bassa tribe. There is a particular thing they deal in known as the Niji, which is what the water spirit. Right? Yeah, that's it. Now if you go in Bon County, people who are called Koli or Nyantono, fine, thank you. You just name it. Nyantono. What I mean, they put something in the food that will make the man to love the woman. That's another thing. Then there's another thing, people who are called Koli. Now it means leopard. So it means that those people are dealing in leopard. So normally you will see them wearing the leopard skin.
The tooth.
Or the, thank you, or the tooth. All right?
So everybody, I know where this is going.
No, it doesn't mean that the Kodi, the kind of Kodi you may see here is. But the name, maybe it was given to him by grandparents and so, but that representing what a leopard. Are we good? Masquerade, this one is a representation of Africa's tradition. Looking at the diversity of culture in Africa, so that masquerade may appear in different forms. This is one type of masquerade which represents different kind of culture in different part of Africa. And this is another type. And this is another type. And then this goes on. Different kind of cultures representing different, masquerade representing different cultures. Then these are warrior vests. These warrior vests were used by hunters back in the days. And they were also used by warriors in the event of battle. These warrior vests got tribal or traditional powers that would make the warrior to appear or disappear. They're very powerful, you see that.
Do you think if you got in there, it would still work?
Oh yeah, it could work.
If you would,
Yeah.
disappear?
Now, what you see here, they are the cowrie, traditionally known as well Gamosi in Liberia. This one is a bell which frightens their enemies when they are moving in their number, making sounds. No. Do not touch. Stay on your lane. The mirror was for traditional insight, which helps them to see far ahead of them from the realm of the spirit. And all these things, they are all traditional. And this one is made of leather or animal skin. Are we good?
I have a question.
Yeah.
The cars.
These are toys.
Yes.
Toys. So back in the days, more recent, one thing I remember, those days our people never had knowledge of molding toys for the kids. So our people, they use the old slippers and they carve them together and to produce something like a car and so forth. Fortune tellers were used to predict future. The people are moving. There were times they want to maybe move to a new land. or a newborn baby, they want to know the future of that child. They are about to take a decision, maybe about the town, and they want to know whether the decision they are about to take, whether it was right or not. These were gods they consulted. And the man seated by the god was known as the Zoe, Z-O-E, Zoe. So the Zoe will communicate with the god, and the Zoe will tell you what the god has said, and so forth. These are ancient tombs.
This one is ugly.
And these tombs were found in the soil of Liberia and its adjacent parts. People who got these tombs back in the days, because they were not archaeologically inclined, you know, archaeologists are people who go excavate, and whatever they find, they conduct study. They want to know when it was made, how it was made, whether it was made by man or by God. They want to know all the stories. But traditionally, our people never had the knowledge. So the moment they got the kind of stones, either by digging the well or something or sort, they concluded that these were gods. And they began to worship them as gods. More especially that those days, they never had the knowledge of the Christianity faith. They never had knowledge of the Islamic faith. So they placed these gods or these stones in a sacred place, like the shrine or other areas where they went to worship them on a weekly or a daily basis, which they believed in them. Like these were gods of the Gisi tribe. And the Gisi called this god Pondo. Pondo. For they believed that Pondo serves as means of communication between the living and the dead. So they believe that if your loved one dies, or your mommy or daddy is dead, you could still communicate with them through the powers of Pondo. They believe that whatever you do at Pondo, Pondo will carry a message and will bring back your result. That was a belief, and it worked for them. There you see Mafua. Mafua was a Gola god, the god of the Gola tribe. And Gola also believed in this god as means of protection, direction, and other stuff. So in 1920, this god was taken away from them, let's say stolen from them, by a German national, and was carried to Germany. And the people of the Gola district, they came with complaining to the government of Liberia. And the government went through the case. The government won the case. And they got returned.
How long ago was that?
And when they got returned, the first they went to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and was later brought here, as shown here.
I was asking how long back was it?
From 1920.
No, I mean when they stole it.
Oh, from the 1800s, and they carried the 80
okay.
centuries. Yeah. So what makes it a god is the inability of man to describe this god. Anybody look at it? Are you able to describe this god?
It kind of looks like a lizard.
Somebody will say, now
crocodile.
let's do like this. How does it? He called it a frog. What about you?
It looks like
Laser. And other people will say crocodile. You see? It looking like
About the spring.
it looks like frog about the spring. Okay. 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 So that's it. Here are storage materials. Our people use them to keep things. But they made them in a way that will distract the attention of a stranger from knowing that they were meant for keeping things, but that the stranger could only be attracted to its appearance. Like you see some with two heads, him around it, and so forth. But actually, it was meant to save gold, diamond, jewelries were kept in them. So it opens from here. These are in there. The stranger may not know. It opens from here. The stranger may not know. And you can something in, drop it in there. Stranger may not know. Are we good? Even this one. Look at this one. Look at this one.
Oh,
Read
that's
this one.
also for storage?
See that? But stranger will not know.
That's what we do.
These are also musical instruments. Like the salsa. Our people use them, especially these days. They are used in our churches. But the people used them those days during time of cultural performances, and mainly from Lofa and Bombing and Cape Town. This one is the motivational drum. The one is also from Bong County. And all the ones that the tortoise shell, our people use them to make music. This one is looking at some of the materials, the kind of animals we have in Liberia. Like you see the bird, you see the elephant, the crocodile, the kind of tree that grow in Liberia. The weaving machine was invented in the 18th century by the people of Lofa and Bong counties. You know, from the onset, our people never had knowledge of wearing clothes. They were naked. As time went by, they began to use animal skin. So later on, the innovation came to them and they invented the loom machine where they use cotton. And they spin the cotton using this thing. And this cotton will make thread, long thread. Then they connect the thread using this one. And this thing will be able to produce a fabric like you see here now. And when they connect the fabric together, they are able to produce a gown for a king and his wife. So from the onset, these things have been very expensive in our setting because they are very honorable. You don't just see ordinary people wearing the clothes, do you? No, other government officials. So we also have the god of fertility. This was the god that blessed women who could not have child or children. They went and prayed to this god, and their god will help them to have child or children. All they would request of you to do was to maybe do some sacrifice in the tomb of bring cow or bring goat or bring chicken or bring money, whatever they call for, based on or depending on your problem. And then once you comply, they will use some herbs, bathe you, and do some chant. And when you get through with you, say, go back to your husband. You know what to do. Once they do it straight, you get a child or the children you want. So Liberia is blessed to have some wildlife. In Liberia, we have the monkeys, we got the chimpanzees. In Liberia, we got the hog, we got the elephant. And then we also have the pygmy hippo. Now the pygmy hippopotamus or the hippo is unique to Liberia. Yeah, you don't see it nowhere in the world except Liberia. So when you go do a research on it, they will say to you, oh, the pygmy hippo is found in Sierra Leone, Guinea, or in Ivory Coast, especially Liberia. Why? Because those countries are sharing border with Liberia.
So sometimes
you try to manage to go out, but the next day it will come back in. So the pygmy hippo, they are completely Liberians.
So the pygmy hippo had hippopotamus.
Yes, the common hippopotamus around the world is this type. Yeah, this is a common one you see around the world. But that one, which is long neck and short to the ground, they call the pygmy hippopotamus.
Our head.
You know when the Maninga entered in Liberia? The Maninga entered Liberia in the 17th century. When they entered, they were called the Maninga in the 17th century. That was somewhere 1658. If you're doing the tribal classification of Liberia, they got the Kwa speaking people, the Mande speaking people, and there is another speaking people. So there are certain people that are arranged, and that is they talk similarly. They have a similar way of talking. So you see the Kwa speaking people, they are like I think Basil Griber and so forth. Yeah. Then the Menti form of speaking people, they are like I think the Pele, the Mandingo, the Loma, the Mano, Bandi, particularly Va. Yaga. This marks representation of Liberia's 16 tribes as it stands. We got the Loma, the Gola, Grebo, Mandingo, Bassa, Pele, the Crew, the Kisi, Dane, Mano, Giyo, Bandi, Bele, Kra, Mende, and the Va. And there were ways that people identified themselves by the usage of masks. Then the mask you see with the two horns running down the head. That was the marks of the Loma tribe, which was a symbol of humble authority. Then the marks you see with the horns up, were the marks of the mandingo, the great bull, or the crown. Those are symbol of our bravery, symbol of power. Then the marks you see with the hair plaited, that were marks of the Bassa tribe. That was symbol of beauty. Then the marks you see with the face looks like bird, the marks of the Pele tribe, which was a symbol of the abundance of pepper birds in central Liberia, Bon County. Now, it is important to note that the pepper bird is a symbol of Bon County. So that's why if you look in the emblem of the National Patriotic Party of Liberia, which was founded by former President Charles Taylor, you'll see the pepper bird is in that emblem. Why? Because NPP was founded right in Bon County. Chatted particularly, no people are your common people, but when they came, they adapted themselves inside the area. History says, when there was no Liberia, there were slave masters who came to Africa and they took people into slavery. The picture is shown there. So during those days, when they are carrying you as a slave, if you are strong, yes, congratulations, you will reach and become slave. But while going, if you got sick or tired along the way, they will not spare the person, they will kill the person. Like you see somebody standing there with the ash up. So it means that you needed to be strong to reach and become slave or get sick along the way and die. Choose your choice. Those people that were taking specifically, they were taking all part of the world, but our own concern is about the ones that were taken to the United States of America, who worked on plantations for a good length of time. So that they were there working and they were getting larger in their number according to the records. So their slave masters felt threatened by the increment and decided to send them back to their motherland, Africa. It was from that backdrop, they formed an organization called the American Colonization Society, the ACS. When they came, the American Colonization Society sent them back to their motherland, Africa. So when they came, they were called the Americo-Liberians or the settlers. But when the people came, they met people living on the soil. The indigenous were living here. But these indigenous never had the knowledge of forming independence. It was the Americo-Liberians that brought the ideology of forming or declaring independence. That's how July 26, 1847, they declared independence, making Joseph Jenkins Robert the first president of Liberia. As a matter of fact, Joseph Jenkins Robert was the last governor of the Commonwealth, becoming the first president of Liberia. Because when the people first came, their form or their system or style of government where first they had a colonial form of government, which was headed by an agent. Later on, they transitioned to the Commonwealth, which was headed by a governor. And later on, they transitioned to the Republican or the Democratic form of government today, which was headed by president. So Joseph Jenkins Robert became the first president of Liberia. His idea, his work, primarily was focusing on how he can establish diplomatic relationship with countries around the world. First, the country needed to recognize Liberia. So it was not easy. He did his best. So the first country that accepted recognizing Liberia as an independent nation was Great Britain. That was when he went to visit the Queen of England, Queen Victoria. Upon his return, 1848, the lady gave him a series of gifts, but the museum was able to get this one. So this table was given to him by the Queen of England, that's Queen Victoria. But the chairs you see around it was used by Liberia's longest serving president, President William V.S. Tubman. Tubman became the longest serving president of Liberia, serving Liberia for 27 years. who was a good friend to Kwame Nkrumah, president of Ghana. Remember, Tubman was the 18th president of Liberia as Kwame Nkrumah became the first president of Ghana. President William V.S. Tubman, the longest serving president of Liberia, died July 23, 1971. This was a book of condolence that was signed. Prior to his death, some of the proclamation he signed, these are some of the proclamation he signed when he was alive. When Tubman died, his vice president was William R. Tolbert. It is important to note that Tolbert served as vice president under William V.S. Tubman for 19 years. So Tolbert took over as president according to the law. Unfortunately, Tolbert did not complete his term.
Nope.
He was assassinated April 12, 1980 by then Master Sergeant of the Armed Forces of Liberia, Samuel Kayando. When Samuel Kayando overthrew William R. Tolbert, he also killed all his cabinet ministers, specifically 13 men, putting them on firing squad. According to recent research, the number of persons he wanted to kill, they were about 1,000. Oh yes. According to recent research that I did, about 1,000 of persons that he wanted to kill. But people came and said, no, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. So at the end of the day, he lazy, and he reduced the number to 13. And he placed them on a firing squad, killed them all. It is important to note that this act was one of the things that introduced war into Liberia. War that saw the emergence of Charles Taylor, Charles Dakpanda, Kangi Taylor,
So handsome, man.
and the emergence of different kind of deadly weapons in our setting. Weapons that we did not know about.
Man. Not gonna lie.
Now, war in Liberia. You see bullet marks. You see human eating human. You see women holding guns, children, babies, arms were amputated. You see human head on the table. People were being burned. They killed people anyway, anyhow, because there were no law, no order, no police, no army, no immigration. The strong survived. People were living by the grace of God. Liberia also encountered another devastation called Ebola. These are information of Ebola 2014. When Ebola came to Liberia, which killed lots of people. If you look there, you see this is the current look of the Providence Island. More recently, there were some archaeologists that came to Liberia to do a research on the Providence Island. They went there, they dug the place with their sophisticated machines. They excavated these stuffs or the artifacts. They conducted a study. It was proven to them that these are materials the free slaves brought with them from America in the 1820s. And they continue to dig. They came in contact with the ones, the clay stuffs. So it was evident that it is true that there were indigenous living on the Providence Island before the arrival of the free slaves. People that were using clay materials and so forth. And some of the material also came from Crusoeville. These are pictures of past leaders of Liberia, past and present.
This is very recent.
Oh, of course, sure.
Very,
This
very
was
recent.
recently brought in by former Vice President, Madam Joy Howard Taylor. So if you look there, you will see picture of former President Ellen, the Liberian voices. That's how she titled it. This is the presidential chair of late President William V.S. Totman, which was given to him by the Masonic Mason. These are some of our currencies back in the days. This is Liberia's first currency, which was known as a currency money. So that's why you see behind our currency today, you see the one there, representing our first currency. That's the picture you see way up there. Here you see former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, first female president of Liberia, and the first female president of Africa, modern day Africa. So this is Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, the mother of Africa. Information about former President George Manuel Weah. We are aware that former President George Weah was a football star before he became president of Liberia. Being the only African that won the highest award in football, which is known, or the greatest award, which is known as the Ballon d'Or. He played for lots of teams in Europe, like the AC Milan, like the PSG. He played for Monaco, Chelsea, and so forth, winning trophies like African Best, FIFA Fair Play Award, European Best, and then the World Best, and you name it, so forth. Yeah.